That's CP time.
Hey, everybody. Welcome to Hold the Mic. We are your ridiculous hosts, Ryan Shead and Ian Sherman.
What up,
Brother.
though? On CPT, baby.
Oh, baby. 2
What up?
minutes
If
late.
you know, you know. If you don't, you don't. I ain't spelling it out for you.
It's okay. We're still good. I hope everybody's doing good on this Monday, July 15th.
This is how I am on Mondays.
As you can see, Ian and I are deviating from our normal schedule a little bit because there's so much going on. And as you heard Friday, I'm going on vacation starting tomorrow. So
I'm proud of you, man. I'm proud of you getting away from everything.
Yeah, I'm definitely planning on. I literally looked over at Jen today. We went and picked up the rental car we're taking, and I was like, I'm so ready to unplug.
Yeah.
Like I'm glad.
I'm so happy for you.
I'm glad the VP pick came out today, so that because if that would have happened while I was in Disneyland, I'd have been like,
I would have been boiling over.
I would have been hot.
It would have been like, it's a small word. Shut up! Like just mad. You'd have been mad.
I fell asleep in that one.
You wouldn't have if news was dropping.
Yeah, no, I fell asleep going through that last time.
It's so wild. It's so wild, man. So yeah, Monday is a busy Monday.
It's been a busy Monday. It was a busy weekend, crazy weekend, history-making weekend.
That's right.
You know, which is why we're here for this special edition.
That's right. Lil Mo, my name's Ian, man. What's up? What up, though?
So before we go into any of this, I just want to say that we should all keep in mind that a father and an innocent person lost their life during this event. So I just want to say that, you know, I know I speak for Ian and I to say that his family is in our prayers, our thoughts, you know, sending them good vibes, and hope you guys will. If you're not into prayers, just send them good vibes, send them healing thoughts. It's all good. So definitely thinking about them today. You know, a couple of girls, I believe, lost their father. I think he was a girl dad, fireman. So yeah, just big tragedy that had to go down.
Yeah.
So with that said, I'm sure you guys can kind of tell what our topic's going to be to begin with, and that's going to be the Trump assassination attempt. This, like I said, this is history. This is going to go down in the history books, whether we like it or not. This was an attempted assassination.
Yeah.
So is this something you ever thought that you would see in our lifetime? Like, honestly.
You know, the only one I thought was going to be was a shoe being thrown at George W. Bush. I thought that was the extent of, like, you know, a hit job. Yeah. And my man was too fast with duck and dodge. And clearly I would have had him on my dodgeball team.
Yeah, if you haven't seen that, go Google it. Shoe getting thrown at George W. Bush.
That's right.
He
at a press conference.
Quick like a cat, man.
Hey,
I'll tell you.
He was ready. That's a Texas cat, boy. That was an alley cat.
I'm telling you, bro.
That was a Texas alley cat. You know, here's what's so interesting. So I was born in '84, so I was just 3 years past the one that happened in '81, right?
Yeah.
And it's tragic because here's the thing. It's not that it's not normal anymore. This is shit that you think about. You go to a grocery store, you go to a movie theater, you go to a parade, you go to a 4th of July, you go to church, and you're hearing about this. How many mass shootings happened over the weekend?
Yeah.
Just this past weekend alone.
Yeah.
And so it's like, yeah, it was only a matter of time before this got into a political arena. Like it's and what's so Republican about this shit is that it was a white male who was Republican with an AR, their favorite weapon. Yeah. And it's like they, you know, people want to say, well, he just became a Republican. I go, show me the proof. Show me where you have information where the FBI does not have that. Yeah. Show me, because no one's dropped anything yet. So how are you getting this? How do you have his voter registration from 3 months ago?
And it's the spin too, of you know, he just did Republican to throw everybody off, like the conspiracy theories. And I'm all for a good conspiracy theory. But it's just like, really? And somebody even said, well, why does that matter? It's like, because if it was a black Democrat, you know darn well what the leading headline would be of every news article.
Yeah.
So, you know, you guys don't play dumb.
And someone asked me, they're like, why didn't the sniper take him out first thing? And I go, because he's white. If that was brown, anything, if that was any shade, if that was my shade or darker, he would not even been able to roll around on that rooftop. So
Yeah,
don't
probably
even get it twisted.
some
All
sad
right,
truth there.
do not
So
even get it twisted.
I want to tell everybody. So we actually filmed about an hour show last night on this topic, and this morning Ian called and he was like, you know what, man? He's like, I think we had a couple of areas of misinformation. Like, let's not do that, or let's redo the show. So we decided to come live because there was just so many other things that happened today that were worth talking about.
Yeah.
So I think it's just one of the things that we had talked about on the show was I wanted to wait and see how long he was up there.
Right.
You know, because I thought, okay, well, if he climbed up there real quickly, maybe the Secret Service didn't have time to see him.
Right.
And now we have video that is showing that not just the Secret Service, but everybody on the ground saw him. Like, everybody was pointing at him, saw him rolling around.
This motherfucker was doing the Macarena up there, boy.
Like, for real.
He was up there. He was up there.
If this video is too loud, I'll take it right down. But I have this video of somebody's, private video of them shooting, and they're showing the guy moving around up there, and they're like,
Right.
there he is. Hello. So hopefully it's not too loud.
You've been doing this, I think, at some beautiful places, the gorgeous ocean, the Mediterranean.
Look, they're all pointing.
The Atlantic, maybe the Pacific.
Yeah, someone's on top of the roof. Look, there he is right there. Right there, see him? He's laying down, see him?
Yeah, he's laying down.
So it's not showing it the right way, but so as you can see, like,
He was already up there.
He was already up there. He had been up there for, like, it looked like he set up a tent, started grilling up some food, maybe brought up a cooler with some drinks. So unfortunately, my explanation of why the Secret Service may not have responded quickly was thrown out the window pretty quickly.
Yeah.
Which, in a weird way, thank God, right? Like, thankfully, there's so many cameras around and videos. It's not like we only have one angle to look at of what happened. Like, we have a lot of angles.
Which is so wild about it. And I say that to you because you look at today's world, right? Everybody has a cell phone. Everybody has something that can record some type of footage.
Yeah.
And one of my conservative friends I was talking to just today, this morning, he was like, here's this guy at a college yelling all this profanity about being Trump, blah, 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 and being mad. And it was the grainiest. I'm talking about like bodega, cheap corner store camera security footage. We all know that security footage. It's pixelated. It doesn't record anything good. And he's like, look at him. This is him right there. And I go, how can you tell that's him besides that this person is white? Like, how can you tell that's him?
Yeah.
How are you running with this saying, this is him, this is the guy? And I'm like, okay, like, I don't even see his face. I see nothing. I see white man yelling something and walking off storming. Like, okay, great. Like, give me something. I go, it's 2024. Who the hell has grainy footage? Who?
I know. I mean, cell phones, like, if you're zooming in, I get that, but I don't know.
Still, the technology's there.
No. I'm not trying to excuse it or anything.
No, but whatever. I mean, but he was up there, man. Like, you and I talked about it. He was up there. He was up there. So do we break down who this person is? What do you want to do?
So just for some background for anybody who may not, be following it too closely. So the shooter was a 20-year-old Thomas Matthew Crooks of Bethel Park, Pennsylvania. He was a registered Republican, and it does appear that he did make a donation to a progressive group.
Act Blue.
Yeah,
is the name of the
through Act
organization.
Blue. Well, the Act Blue is the platform, but it was like some progressive get out the vote type group.
Yep.
So it wasn't to a Democrat candidate, but it was to a progressive group.
Right.
So that was $15. But you brought up a good point in the green room. So if he's 20 years old and he made that donation
today, 20 years old today.
Yeah. So
Do the
going
math.
back, it was what, 3 years, 4 years?
They said 2021. It was 3 years ago. And depending on when his birthday is.
So 17, 18.
1716.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
1716. And Mr. Peacock, if you have the proof about this being a 65-year-old man, send it our way. We couldn't find it. We thought the same thing.
I couldn't find it.
We couldn't find it. Send it our way. The reality is, regardless, $15 that a 16-year-old or a 17-year-old donated.
Yeah.
Non-adult, can't vote. So I don't want to hear that this person was a mole, that they are Antifa, that they are any of these spin doctor lies that are being literally sent out there. We're talking about a child, get out and vote type of process. This wasn't Joe Biden just a month ago. This wasn't anything. This is 2021. Do the math.
Yeah.
That's all I'm asking people.
And Mr. Peacock, I've got my Twitter open, so if you want, you can put it in the comments too if you have the receipt. I really would love, like, I'm more than happy to put it up on the show. We just weren't able to find it. So
yeah,
please send it to us if you have it. So on top of being registered Republican and possibly donating to this progressive group, it's been reported that he has no known mental illness history.
That's right.
Mental illness history, sorry. And his family is cooperating completely so far with Secret Service and other law enforcement agencies. There were 2 injured victims on top of the gentleman we lost. They were upgraded to stable condition as of yesterday. And the gun that was used, like Ian said, was an AR-15, and it was linked to his father and was legally purchased. So that's where we stand right now. I think there might be some few little more details coming out, but that's about the gist of it right now.
Yeah.
So.
But he was a loner. He was bullied in high school. You know, his ex-classmates said that he was the type of kid who would do a school shooting. That's what he was labeled. And you know, this is one of those things where you got to really realize this is some of the people who fall through the cracks.
Yeah. That
we have to take it upon ourselves to really just be open to, or maybe he just didn't get the opportunity to be who he wanted to be, whatever that is.
It's hard to know, man.
Whatever.
The interesting part to me is that he didn't have much of a social media, an online presence.
It's very hard right now that they're trying to comb through, and the FBI has his phone. They sent it back to headquarters because they were like, we need to figure out. He has no presence.
Something to go off of. Yeah.
They have nothing. They have no manifesto. There was bombs, explosive devices in his car, and
really?
there was explosive devices. They said in his car on location, and then also there was materials at the house when they went there to make
Did
explosive
he live
devices.
With his parents?
I believe he did. I believe so. I mean, that's
so
what he
they
got.
Found materials in the house. That could be legal problems for the parents.
Yeah, I mean, this is reading.
I'm not a lawyer, but I mean,
his father thought that he was going to a gun range, and then he got worried when his son was not picking up the phone, and then he heard about the shooting at the president.
Oh Lord.
Yeah, it's one of those situations.
Can you imagine that as a parent?
I will never, because I am in my child's life, and I'm making sure that he feels that he is getting.
Anything can happen, man.
Anything can happen, but I'm just telling you right now that it's one of those things where
I'm not going to have. Gun for him, there's probably.
We didn't say he bought it for him. It was his gun that he took.
Oh, he took it.
Yes, that was the father's gun and he thought he was taking it to the shooting range.
Oh shit.
That's my point.
Damn.
Yeah. So yeah, you could talk about what we would do, but what happened is the situation.
No, that's fair. Like I said, my kid, he sees blood on wrestling and he freaks out right now. So one thing, he was a gun nut. I have an iPhone and rarely use it. My only online presence is right here. Not everyone goes on social media. That's true. That's a very good point. And honestly, I kind of envy the people that yeah, exactly like Ian. I take it in all day, and so I actually envy people who, kind of are good at staying detached from it all.
I try.
Yeah.
You got me into TikTok.
Yeah, I'm dragging you into the deep end.
You're dragging me into the thick of it, boy. I'm in the lion's den. Which Little Mo asked. My handle's at Sherman_BK. You can find me on TikTok.
Oh, is Little Mo
thank
in
Ryan
here?
For that. Little Mo's in here.
Little Mo's
asking who's your co-host.
Good to see you, man.
Who's your co-host? That's what Lil Mo asked. Who your co-host?
Yeah, this is my boy Ian, man. We went to high school together. But yeah, glad you found the podcast, man. Yeah, Lil Mo's always in my comments. He making some good comments. Oh, dude, Jacob. Hang on. Did you know Jacob in school?
I know Jacob very well.
Dude.
Shout out to Jacob, man. We're taking it back. We're taking it back to Kimball Nights right here.
Ah, dude. Yeah, Jacob here went to school with us. Good dude. Great
guy. Always positive individual.
Yeah, love him. So, so moving on. That was just a little quick positive. Good to see you, and I see you up there too, big brother. But so yeah, this is, like I said, we're living history right now,
Yeah.
and it's really interesting seeing the response on both sides. Of course, you have your extremists that are really latching onto this on the right, and of course, we have our extremists on the left. But the really interesting response that I've noticed is that there are a lot of people on both sides of the aisle that are really going, something's off. Something doesn't feel right here.
Right.
You know, and some people are saying, many people are saying,
I hear people are saying.
I hear, you know, many
people.
people are saying. But it's like they think it was either staged, you know, like a setup, because mainly what a lot of people are going off of is the response from the Secret Service. And there's so much video out there of the sniper nest and them having basically it pointed at the kid. And it's like they waited for him to shoot. And I saw one person. So if anybody, law enforcement, is in the comment section, please, you know, confirm or deny this for us. But they said something like they can't shoot until the other person shoots. And I thought to myself, that can't be right. Like,
that's your job, protecting
like
the
I
president.
Understand rules of engagement in the military.
Yeah.
But when you're Secret Service and you're protecting the president, you see somebody in a vantage point that you've already identified.
Yeah.
Like Secret Service identified that vantage point as a possible problem.
Yeah.
So, you know, that's what's bringing in so many questions. Okay, well, if it was a problem, why didn't you put a sniper up on that one as well? Why didn't you at least secure the building and make sure nobody could get up on the roof if you already knew it was a problem days prior? There's so many
things are popping up. So many things are popping up.
So many things.
And the thing about that one location, because you and I talked about this yesterday as well.
Yeah.
Is that location, and Mr. Peacock hit you with the link.
Did he?
That specific topic alone about that location, that was in the radius that was given to local police to look at. But this is where you look at your local hired cops versus the Secret Service, and then the Secret Service not doing a final check and not making sure everybody did their job. So somebody dropped the ball on the due diligence of like, is every zone been checked? And it doesn't matter if it was checked at like 7 a.m. because clearly the rally was a lot later in the afternoon.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So it's like, but somebody local authority was supposed to be posted at that building, posted in there. But if that is a zone that could have eyes on the president, why wouldn't a sniper be on that zone?
That's the interesting part.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. And like I said last night when we filmed the show, I wanted to find out more information, and now knowing that we were going to go live, I went and, you know, really paid more attention. It was just like, okay, that some I don't know who, I don't know what. Like I said, I'm not sitting here saying I'm a freaking security expert or whatever, but there's a lot that seems suspicious. If you have a bunch of civilians on the ground going, what's that right there? What's that dude up there doing? Looks like he's setting up a gun.
And telling an officer, there's somebody right there.
Is anybody going to do anything? And nobody's doing anything. That's the crazy part. Then the fact that they waited for him to shoot before taking him down. Like I really want to know what the Secret Service's not regulations, but protocols.
What their protocol? Yeah. But I'm gonna tell you right now, that doesn't even make sense. We have to wait until they shoot. That's not the rules of engagement.
I wouldn't think so in that instance.
No.
So, Mr. Peacock, is there any way you can actually put it in the comment section on my Twitter? That way I can pull it off there. I can't pull it out of the comment section here. It's not letting me like copy and paste.
Make sure you put your Twitter out there just so they know.
Yes, he's watching it from my Twitter. So
got it.
Yeah.
Got it. My bad. I don't know this kid. I don't know this game, kids. I'm a little too old for this, baby.
He's still a little new. Don't mind him.
Still a little new. All right, I smell it. Newborn on me. All right, that's what's happening here.
Hey, we got about 1,000 people watching.
I got that baby shampoo on.
So glad to have you all here with us. Like, you know, we want to. I think Ian and I both want to be the voice of reason. Is that fair to say?
I'm what? What was it?
Well, you should pay attention first off.
I was reading actually what Dane Hill. Look, man, you can't be dyslexic trying to read these comments. All right, I'm telling you, I'm focused in. I'm like,
No, but
let me see what's
I
going
was
on.
saying, I think it's safe to say that we want Hold the Mic and us, our platform, to be more of a voice of reason versus
Yes, sir.
being the first to post something,
Yes, sir.
or being running around with our hair on fire, like
You said it. You said it.
yeah,
Yesterday we recorded a show and we said, you know what? We'd rather trash that show and do it live and do it right.
yeah,
And that's what we want to bring to all of you who are following us. And guys, like, subscribe. I see a lot of returning. Rochelle, love you. See you all the time. I see a lot of returning faces in here. And hit the notification button. We really want to be the voice of reason, like you said, but we also want you guys to challenge us. Like we said to Mr. Peacock, hit us up. Like, send it our way. Send it. We want to see the stuff, and we will talk about it on air, and we will really look at it. We want to build a community where we can dissect some of this stuff together and figure it out, because we're seeing a lot of the fringe on both ends really being the loudest on the mic. And that's why we're talking about we want to hold the mic. That's what it's all about.
yep.
We taking that shit back, and we want to make sure that we give you guys a voice. We want to make sure that people who are really trying to see a better tomorrow are here getting the word out. And that's what this show is all about. And we want to do it the right way. We will always, always, always push for taking our time and doing it the right way than trying to be the first to do it, because we are not on some clout chasing.
Well, let's fact check ourselves right here, live on the air.
What is it?
So, and thank you to Mr. Peacock for this. I had missed it. So here's some receipts actually that I feel comfortable posting. And shout out to Alex Cole, AC News Itics. I didn't say that right. It's ACNEWSITICS on Twitter. Said another MAGA talking point down the drain. Thomas Crooks, who donated $15 to Act Blue, is a 69-year-old Democrat who lives in Pittsburgh and just happens to have the same name as a Republican.
Wow.
So
thank you.
Here you can see Thomas Crooks, city and state, Pittsburgh, PA, not whatever the other city was that he was in.
Bethel.
$15 not employed, 2021. So like Ian
There
said, that would have put him at 17. And here's the actual proof. Pittsburgh, PA,
Wow.
Thomas Crooks, age 69. So
Thomas Crooks.
this Thomas Crooks 20 was from Bethel Park, where
Yep.
the actual incident took place. So shout out to
Thomas
Mr.
Crooks,
Peacock for that.
One Thomas M. Crooks, Matthew Crooks. That's
Yep.
wild. Ms. Peacock, thank you. Thank you for giving us the receipts.
Yep.
Guys, that's what the show's about. And we really do. We want you to hold us accountable. I have no skin in the game when it comes to my ego. By all means, treat me like a clown and dunk me in the water. Let's do it. Let's get it going.
Yeah. So yeah, we'll be taking that clip and posting it everywhere after this.
Calling me a clown and dunking me in the water?
Not that part. No.
Boom!
This.
That's why I love you. Let's go.
So yeah, no, thank you for that. That's good information. So as you can see, this is why we need to make sure we have all the information as we can and verify as much of it as we can, before we go making our political talking points.
Yeah.
I get it. If it happened to Biden, we would all be campaigning, using it and showing photos. I'm not going to sit here and say we wouldn't be.
Right.
So I'm not really horribly mad at the campaigns for doing that. But it's the misinformation and the exaggerations and the just straight out lies about it that are bothering me. So, but let me ask you this, brother. Knowing what we know, waiting a few days to see what shakes out, and seeing how people are responding,
Mm-hmm.
do you think that this changes many voters' minds?
You know what I think? Honestly, guys, I think everybody knows who they're voting for. This just gave them the boldness to now wear it on their chest. Everybody who I've seen in the last 48 hours spew whatever, jump on whatever, and get their talking points together. They've been waiting to say it. They've been quiet about it. Now they feel emboldened once again. And I went on this high school I went to this person's Facebook page and immediately felt like a high school reunion. And it was this, it was a Never Surrender shirt on, and they said, you know, I'm gonna ruffle some feathers with this one, and I'm like, oh fuck, here we go. I already knew it was gonna be something stupid. I knew it was gonna be something to trigger some type of emotion, and I thought, oh, do I say something? Do I just say a quip? Do I say whatever and kick the hornet's nest, or do I just say, you know what? Thank you for letting me know who you are, you know, and it's the Never Surrender with the surrendered shirt, which is always the oxymoron that I love, you know, because you had to surrender to take that photo, so here we are, and then it just became. I'm sorry to say, it looked like a Klan rally. It was just nothing but whiteface, just talking about how that's their president and how they're going to vote for. And then like the one person of color who jumped in was the only person who had something of common sense and someone who was like, hey, it's not about party that we vote for. It's not about the person we vote for. It's literally about looking at the policies of what's best for this country for everyone. And I was like, no one's going to even fucking really read that. It's just going to go over heads and it's not going to resonate. And here we are, you know, and then a couple of conversations I've been having, they're running with this donation like it happened yesterday. They're turning the knife, talking about this person is Antifa.
Yep.
Not everybody's Antifa. I'm sorry. There is Antifa. Some random person who goes out in all black and is like, I'm beating the shit out of some Nazi. Yes, there is some Antifa in this world. It happens. Your grandfather was fucking Antifa. All right. If they fought in World War II, they were Antifa. Let's just be serious right now. This whole country was Antifa. 1944. Let's get it straight.
Tell him, brother.
I'm just saying, like, it's just idiotic when you listen to people talk, and it's like, you really just don't understand even what Antifa means. You've said Antifa so many times, you don't even know what it stands for at this point.
Yeah. Yep. So, speaking of, if this is going to change voters' minds, I think one of the things, I'm just going to speak for myself. I'm not going to speak for you.
Yes, Rochelle. Antifa stands for anti-fascism.
Fascism. Yeah, that I always
just
love
so
that.
everybody's on the same page.
Antifa, and I'm like, you mean the anti-fascist? Yeah.
Like, I'll tell
but
you
you're
straight
calling
up.
me the commie.
I am Antifa. I'll tell you straight up.
Exactly.
Yes,
like,
I am anti-fascism.
Do you think the Secret Service failure could be the cover? Let's put this up. And by the way, this is Mr. Peacock who gave us the receipts. Do you think the Secret Service failure could be their cover for it, be an organized plan? Trump being late, planning ahead, something in his hand when he grabbed his ear? Need to analyze the video. You know, I mean, I did a video the night of, and I prefaced it with, now this is my conspiracy brain going ding 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 ding. You know, like it was definitely like, oh, he put, you know, we joked and said ketchup, but you know, it's like, oh, he put fake blood on his ear, you know, and why he was down and waiting on the ground, because we were all going, well, why did they wait so long? Why did they have him on the ground so long? And I can explain that away. Okay, right. So they got him on the ground, they got him covered up, they're waiting for the all clear. So I understood that. Now where it starts to go sideways for me is when he stands up and he's like, oh, let me get my shoes. Like, bitch, fuck your shoes. Like, we're going to the car and we're getting you out of here, and you know, you're worth at least a few million. I think you'll be okay to find some new shoes. Right.
Or an agent can grab them and bring them to the car.
Anything else besides what happened. And then he's standing there, you know, pumping up the rally. Like, what bothers me now is that he stopped and put his fist in the air and was pumping it. Like, most rational people in that situation are going to get out of Dodge. They're going to be like, oh, I'm getting shot at. And there's a big crowd of people here, so do we know that it's only one person?
Right.
That was the other thing that bothered, as you can see, a lot of things bothered me. But it was like they seemed a little too comfortable, like thinking that,
revealing
we got the guy on the roof, that's it.
Yeah.
Like, in a crowd like that, they should have definitely been rushing him into the car, shoving him into the car and getting out of there. And they get in the car and they sit there and wait. Like, what are you doing?
Right. There was footage, and this is the part that it's wild to me right now, is that there's footage of him grabbing his hand and somebody slowed it down frame by frame, and his hand came down and there was no blood on it. None. After he did the whole little this and then went like this and then started going down. And I was talking to, again, conservative friend. He goes, Ian, do you know how long it takes for blood to come out of a wound? And I go, oh, fuck. I go, is this really? This is what we're doing.
Look, I'm not gonna say conspiracy theories about that part. There's way too many other things that are right there in front of our eyes.
But for him to be smiling at the crowd and pumping his fists and everything, it's like, and you have
well,
no idea.
He's mouthing fight. Like that's the part that made me feel like this is a fucking staged TV show.
Propaganda.
It was staged.
Building something that becomes used.
And the fact that is being said not just by you and me, not just by the left, but it's literally being said by right-wing pundits too.
Well, I saw the footage of the camera photo. Like someone was filming, taking the photo of the infamous photo now of the flag over him, and you know the shit that's being put on T-shirts now. I go, why are you recording with like what? Okay, is this so you had a GoPro on and you were filming? Is that normal? Is that normal?
I don't know.
I'm not part of the media, so I don't know.
Maybe for people with a YouTube channel or something. I don't know.
Okay. It's just wild, man. It's just weird. All this is just so weird.
And I noticed that too. A lot of people said it was glass from the teleprompter. Neither of the teleprompters exploded. So I don't think it was glass. I think it was actually a bullet. So, like I said, there's just too much that happened that is questionable.
Yeah.
Like you can excuse one thing away. Like you can be like, okay, that one thing happened, but like it's when you have a checklist of what the hell moments,
right?
Then yeah, we need to pay attention and we need to dig a little deeper. Like I said, I'm trying real hard not to be like a conspiracy theorist, but there's just so many things. I feel comfortable saying it, I think, because so many people online are agreeing. It'd be one thing if it was just like me and a few hundred people all saying it. No, there's a lot of people saying this feels off.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
Like, do you feel any different?
Just the whole situation was so weird because I was in a place where I was really disconnected for the day.
Yeah.
And I mean, I didn't even have my phone on me. Like it was just like turned off. Because you tried to reach out to me.
Yeah.
And I was like, I'm just detoxing about everything. And I was on a boat and I'm telling you that I was on there. I'm just thinking, okay, we got an election in a couple months. Democrats have to figure out their situation and Trump's just doing his thing, whatever. And the conventions this week. That was on my mind. And I'm like, all right. And then I'm sitting there and it was some, for anybody who doesn't know, I live in Brooklyn and I'm here traveling on a little boat around the East River, just traveling like a water taxi. And some tourists in front of me from Italy were talking and I just hear them murmur something. And then they say Trump was shot. And I go, what? And that's how I found out. And then I feel like everything changed. And the first thing out of my mouth was, well, maybe this will change some laws because they don't care about shooting children. But now that we've shot a president, maybe we'll see some change in laws. And I don't think we will because the spin is so heavy right now.
Yep.
And there was a meme I saw where it said, like, if the Secret Service can't protect a president, what the fuck do you think a teacher's going to do for their classroom? And I go, that is everything.
Yeah.
That is everything.
No. And not even
shout out to
that,
Patrick. Seeing you right there, brother.
But not only that, so now you can't go to a political rally.
Yeah.
You're not even safe to go to a political rally that's surrounded by Secret Service agents with snipers.
No.
Like, that's what I want people to also wrap their head around.
Yeah.
Is not just the fact that it was political violence, is the fact of where these people were. Like, they were literally being protected by Secret Service and somebody still died. 2 other people were shot. And Trump was almost shot.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I don't know how anybody couldn't be, like, alarm bells couldn't be going off in people's minds right now.
And that's the biggest conversation they're having is about this convention. They're saying that a lot of resources were spread thin, and then they were in a small town. But this is the thing. If this is what Trump's doing,
Oh yeah,
then
because they were yeah.
they're getting ready for this convention, and
Yeah.
he has to have these rallies. So it's like, okay, so this is what he has to do. Then you guys should be, he should be fronting the bill for security. Like, think about what this is really taking. And we're paying for all this Secret Service, all of us as taxpayers. And you're thinking about it and you're like, okay, well, wait a minute. So if he's going to start going on more rallies, what is that going to be like? Because this person wasn't in the rally. So therefore, it wasn't like they were checking bags. And this is also the man who said that, you know, for the Second Amendment crew, you know what to do with Hillary. And it's just like, look at how that is full circle.
Well, you know, and let's go ahead and just show that video real quick because I actually have that. So for everybody saying, you know, all the horrible things and talking about the left, you know, I said, I'm surprised it didn't happen sooner. And I'm going to show this video right here is why I said that.
Hillary wants to essentially abolish the Second Amendment. By the way, and if she gets to pick her judges, nothing you can do, folks. Although the Second Amendment people, maybe there is, I don't know. But
so, just in case you need me to, you know, connect that dot for you, he literally suggested that the Second Amendment people, you know, go take care of Hillary. So,
yeah.
And that was 7 years ago.
Yep.
So.
Yep. Yeah, it's wild to me, man. It's really wild. That's a perfect example of speaking things into existence. And and they say that the young man also had was it the Second Amendment shirt, second A or a 2A shirt on, like, you know, it's their brand all day.
Yeah.
And it's just so tragic. And it's like, and the fact that they can't wrap their heads around who did it.
Yeah.
And they don't have a manifesto. And that's where we're at currently.
Yep.
And you just see the tailspin happening. And I'm telling a lot of my conservative friends, you look scared. You look scared because you guys are shooting each other now.
Yeah.
And you need to point and project onto anybody because it just can't, in your brain, you can't fathom the fact that, as of right now, the facts are, he was a Republican.
Yep.
He's registered. You can have all the conspiracy theories you want. You're not him. You don't know him. You just learned about him. And you're not the FBI or the Secret Service. You don't have all the answers. So until that information comes out, at this very moment in time,
yep,
he's a Republican.
And the one thing that we should all take from this is how divided, you know, we are as a country right now, and how helpless, not just people on the left feel, but clearly just people in general, Americans in general, because everything that's supposed to hold this man accountable has failed. Yeah. From being impeached twice and the Senate refusing to convict him both times.
Claiming that the courts would do it.
And now here we are watching every court case against this dude pretty much deteriorate. From the Georgia case being put on hold indefinitely to what happened today, which was Judge Eileen Cannon of Florida dismissed the classified document case against Donald Trump.
Soon to be in the running, Justice Eileen Cannon.
Yep.
She is running for office. And she is running for that seat.
Yep. So now the
good news is anything other.
The good news is that they can appeal this, and it's looking pretty favorable that it will be overturned. But the fact that we just have to go through this process, you know, delay is the game, because once he's sworn in, if he wins, this all matter. Like he'll be Thanos day one. Yeah. This all goes away.
The what she ruled on today, for those of you who are just tuning in, is that she ruled on that Jack Smith was not appointed appropriately.
Yeah, not that Trump didn't do it, not that, you know, Trump isn't guilty, not that, you know, none of that. Just procedural bullshit.
That the paperwork doesn't line up, that the Senate and that Congress, Capitol Hill, is supposed to choose this. Mind you, Biden just had his, being President Biden, with her. Correction. Was that with her? Yes, with her. About how he's too old for them to press charges. Hunter Biden had his right now still ongoing. So the same process. Robert Mueller, same process. And Eileen Cannon voted that this was not the proper process. So here we are. And the 11th Circuit, which has overturned her twice, could expedite this decision. But what will that do? It will then be appealed again, which means it goes to the what? Supreme Court.
Supreme Court.
Which is closed for the season.
Yeah.
So something has to happen.
Yeah.
And the reality is she did her job. This question that came up in and this was only one of many. This particular issue came up in February, and she waited until now to decide on it. Though her decision reads, I've had this sitting here for a couple months because of how intricate it was. It wasn't I thought about it this week and here's my decision.
Yeah.
And then they're also saying the fact that it was Justice Thomas who put that out there in a comment that she read, which was pretty much red meat for her to run with. So
Yeah.
Thomas is still playing cards on the sidelines.
Yep.
Dealing certain hands for Trump.
Yep.
It's quite telling, man. It's the have and have-nots, more and more.
Oh yeah, absolutely. It's funny because I did a video about there was a Republican member of Congress who stood up and said we needed to go back to the 1960s, and of course I pointed out all the how horrible things were for women and people of color and all that.
That's right.
But also it's like if you look at the tax rate back in the 50s and 60s, if you compare that to our deficit, you'll see why our deficit is so out of control. Because we used to actually tax rich people.
Yeah.
We used to actually tax businesses.
You could actually afford 2 homes with your paycheck in the 50s and 60s.
Because people were paying their fair share, and it wasn't us, the middle class, getting screwed repeatedly.
That's right.
So
and how
when
many
they
billionaires
say they want to
existed?
go back to the 1960s, they don't actually mean that. They mean oppressing people, oppressing women, and oppressing Americans with skin tones other than mine. But they don't mean giving people living wages where they, one person can go to work and the other parent, if you have 2 parents, can stay home and actually raise your children like you
That's
guys
right.
all cry about. You cry that they want the government to take care of their children. No. You guys want us to work 12-hour shifts 6 days a week, so we want you to provide us with good infrastructure so that we can send our kids to good schools or send our kids to, a reasonable daycare that doesn't cost us $3,000 a month.
That's right.
So, our society is so broken in the wrong way. And here we have almost half of Americans want to give the country back to these dumb fucks.
Clean coal.
You're fucking stupid. I don't know any other way to put it. You guys all sit there and you cry because we call you names. What do you want me to call you? You literally don't have the IQ to have a fucking conversation about things if you think Donald Trump is what's best for this country. He was a horrible fucking president. I remember not having toilet paper. I remember there not being much food on the shelves. I remember our supply chain fucking crumbling. I remember him saying that he was going to replace the Affordable Health Care Act, and he tried twice and failed. I remember that he said he was going to divest from all of his businesses and never fucking did. I remember every fucking thing. I remember him abandoning the Kurds, our allies. You guys all like to talk about. I remember him releasing 5,000 Taliban before the Afghanistan thing. I remember all of this shit. And the fact that you guys will just vote this man back in. And here's another thing I want to ask all you dumb motherfuckers out there, is if he's such a great businessman, if this dude is just the fucking best thing that we've ever seen, why is it that he doubled our fucking national debt in 4 years if he's so fucking good at what he does? Why is it that we are sitting on fucking $18 trillion in debt if this fucker is so good at what he does? Can anybody answer me that? So really what's happening here is the rich people are putting this dumb motherfucker who needs tax dollars to pay for his lifestyle, who is so dependent on us, they're going to put him back in the White House so that he will do their bidding. Do you know how bad things will be when Donald Trump doesn't have to worry about running another election? He will push through the most ridiculous things, and he knows that he has a Supreme Court that will allow him to do it. So if you're sitting there talking about Robert F. Kennedy Jr., voting third party, staying at home on your couch, I hope you start paying attention. And when it's time, get your ass out and vote. I don't care if it's early ballot. I don't care if it's by mail. I don't care if you fucking show up. Get your fucking ass out and vote. And if you don't vote, don't come talking to me about, oh, the whole country's crumbling. Fuck that. Yes. If you don't get out and vote, you don't have a voice. You don't have anything to say.
Don't forget that the UN laughed at him to his face.
To his fucking face. And you guys think that Joe Biden makes us a laughingstock? They literally laughed at that man's face on the international stage. He is a joke. The only people that think that he is actually good for this country are either dumb motherfuckers or crooked as shit.
Hey, my favorite is that Kennedy is looking like, they just shot this motherfucker. He's like, can I get some security over here, please?
They ain't worried about fucking Kennedy.
They're like, you're not your father. Take all the seats, man. Take all the seats. You're not.
We're gonna come right over here and have a great discussion about do you want to hear me talk for 2 fucking hours about the State of the Union? No.
He's worried about the worm getting shot. I'm just letting you know right now. That's what he's worried about.
The worm died because it ran out of food.
Ryan ran. Oh, you just turned the knife, brother. And he hit the sippy cup. And he brought out the sippy cup.
Sippy cup, baby. So moving on to Republicans making more horrible decisions.
Oh, God. It's a good day, man.
They have selected Ohio Senator
Babyface
J.D. Vance as their VP nominee.
Ooh, J.D.
I have some things to say about this man, and I hope that you guys have a drink, something to enjoy, because it's a long list. I'm not gonna lie.
Happy Monday. We doing Thirsty Mondays. All right, that's what's happening right now. Coming in.
So
that Ryan rant was so good. This one jumped in.
Was it good?
He literally got on the stage. He said, "Hold on one second."
Yeah, no.
I heard Ryan was popping
that
off.
One. I didn't know a Ryan rant was going to come today, but
brother, that's
I think
the beauty of a Ryan
I've just
rant.
had enough.
That's the beauty of a Ryan rant.
I think I'm done.
We look forward to it, right, Baba?
So, J.D. Vance is their pick. This is like, I didn't even have this dude in the top 5.
You didn't. You really didn't.
No.
I did.
Really?
Yes, I did. I'll tell you why in a minute.
Well, tell me why now.
Nope. I want to continue with what you're doing.
Okay.
Love you, Eno.
So, I want to talk a little bit about his wife and some of the things that he has said about Trump along the way, and the about face that he has done regarding his position on Trump, and in a fairly short period of time.
Okay.
So, he met his wife, who is now the mother of their 3 children. They were married in 2014. Her name is I don't even know how to say it. Usha Chilkuri. And I'm so sorry if I butchered that. But that's his wife, and so his wife went.
And what planet is she from? By the way, you said that name.
What's that? No, say that.
I said, what planet is she from? From the way you said that name?
They were blessed by a Hindu pundit.
Ah, okay.
So I'm gonna guess Hindu.
Yep.
But so yeah, I'm not trying to disrespect it anyway.
No.
Yeah.
I'm just being an asshole. Don't worry about that.
Okay, yeah, I'm trying not to be. But what's interesting is that his wife ended up clerking for Supreme Court Chief Justice John Roberts, and then for D.C. Circuit Judge Brett Kavanaugh. She is now a litigator at the same white shoe firm, Munger, Tolles, and Olson. I joked with a buddy that if she had possessed a terrible personality, she would have made an excellent heroine in an Ayn Rand novel, but she had a great sense of humor, Vance wrote in his memoir. Despite her conservative clerkships, colleagues described her as liberal or moderate. During the 2016 election, Vance emerged as a vocal critic of Donald Trump, saying that I'm a never Trumper, he told Charlie Rose in October of 2016.
When he was selling his book. That's right.
Trump is cultural heroin, he wrote in a story in The Atlantic. I think that he's noxious and is leading the white working class to a very dark place, he said to NPR. I go back and forth between thinking Trump is a cynical asshole like Nixon who wouldn't be that bad and might even prove useful, or that he's America's Hitler, he wrote to a friend in February 2016. He ended up voting for independent Evan McMullin. During the Trump years, Vance says he came to support Trump's policies and was radicalized by liberals' angry reaction to Trump. If you even acknowledge that there were reasonable things that Donald Trump was saying, there was this complete overreaction, he has said.
Yeah.
He voted for Trump in 2020. He went on to say, this is J.D. Vance, just these are all hit from him. I regret being wrong about the guy, Vance said about Trump several days later on the campaign trail. I think he was a good president. I think he made a lot of good decisions for people, and I think he took a lot of flack. He later added, he's the best president of my of my lifetime. He's only 30-something years old, so that's not saying much. In April 2022, Trump endorsed Vance. JD is kissing my ass. He wants my support so bad, Trump later said. Vance's primary supporter inside Trump world was Donald Trump Jr. His most prominent supporter in the conservative media has been Tucker Carlson, and his biggest donor has been Peter Thiel to the tune of $10 million. He said, I don't know that I can disrespect someone more than JD Vance. Let me say it again. I don't know that I can disrespect someone more than J.D. Vance, Mitt Romney told his biographer in 2022 as Vance was running for the Senate. You know, I'm not exactly sure exactly what that meant.
No.
In his victory speech, he thanked his mama. You're not always going to agree with every vote that I take, and you're not going to agree with every single amendment that I offer to the United States Senate, but I will never forget that the woman who raised me, he told the audience. I wonder how she felt about women's rights.
She didn't care. Money talks.
Yeah, must not have been, yeah.
Does
In
not
the Senate, he has emerged as a dog defender of Trump and the standard bearer of the New Right, a loose movement of young conservatives trying to push the Republican Party in a more populist, nationalist, and culturally conservative direction. That should terrify anybody, that sentence right there. He has suggested that the Biden administration is allowing fentanyl to cross the southern border as part of a deliberate strategy to kill Republican voters. If you wanted to kill a bunch of MAGA voters in the middle of the heartland, how better than to target them and their kids with deadly fentanyl? It does look intentional. It's like Joe Biden wants to punish the people who didn't vote for him.
Yep.
Like, I can't even believe that.
Nope.
That somebody would actually mutter those words out and believe them.
That's J.D. Vance.
Yep. And let's not go on Twitter and look at every conservative Republican talking mouth, like Marjorie Taylor Greene, Lauren Boebert, Matt Gaetz, Jim Jordan, any of them. Pick any of them. Go on their page and type in open border or open borders. And you will pull up a CVS long receipt of how many times these people have put a tweet out, which has been almost every day, of Joe Biden's borders are open. So
right.
Let me ask y'all something. If you're in another country and you're thinking of going somewhere to find a better life, or wherever, and you're online and you see that bunch of representatives from the United States are saying that the borders are wide open, why don't we take a ride up there and see if we can't fucking get in? So it's like watching Republicans clutch their pearls while simultaneously turning the bat signal on and telling everybody that our border's open. Yeah. It's not Democrats doing that. And by the way, our borders are not wide open. So I would argue that the huge influx of people that we've seen coming to the borders, that Republicans have played a part in it, including Elon fucking Musk, who posts about it almost daily.
That's
So
right.
I'm really getting tired of hearing that this is Joe Biden's fault. It's not Joe Biden's fault. It's your fucking fault. You know, and we've got video of Kamala Harris going down there and telling people, don't come. And then literally that day, you've got Marjorie Taylor Greene saying the borders are open. So make up your freaking mind.
JD Vance is interesting because he.
I got a whole nother page.
I was just going to interrupt just for a
Yeah, no,
second.
go ahead.
So people remember I'm part of the show too.
I'm just saying.
We fight like a married couple, guys. This is actually should be called the odd couple. JD Vance is interesting because he went to Yale. And when you look at him, much like Ron DeSantis, they come off as like hillbilly-ish, and they try to play that role of like they're not that deep into law and everything. He is dangerous in that front. But I want you to keep in mind that he is going to be the heir of MAGA. He's 39.
Yeah.
Trump has now anointed him as his successor. In any way you want to look at it.
Yeah.
He grabs the white vote.
And he's young.
And I want that.
30-something years old.
39.
He's your age.
He's 39. We are the same exact age.
Yep.
I've made some bad decisions in my life. And I could be grifting with the best at DC. And so one of the things that I find interesting is that he is getting the, and that's depending on whatever Trump does. That's depending. He's setting him up in a way that he can kiss the ring, and he will do everything that Trump wants. And yet at the same time, he doesn't overshadow Trump. He just falls back completely. He does have some characteristics of being dynamic within his arena, being Republican space, and he's not awkward like DeSantis, right? But he fits some of the boxes of that, and so it's one of those things where he's going to be a formidable foe, plain and simple, and he knows he's full of shit when he says a lot of the stuff that comes out of his mouth, but he plays it so well. And the thing that you really have to keep in consideration with this is, and Ryan, this is why I was like, oh, he was in my top 5, because he wasn't in Florida like they were saying with Rubio or with DeSantis, meaning that one of them would have to leave, go through this whole process. It could happen. It could be done. But I just thought to myself, Rubio looks way too thirsty. DeSantis, nobody likes. Nobody was going to ever like him. He works in Florida, leave his ass in the Panhandle state. And JD worked because he's in the heart of America, right? Technically, everybody looks at Ohio. The way it's shaped, it doesn't look like it at all, but they say it's the heartland. It's the heart of America. So there's things that the synergy that he's trying to use around that. And he's the safest bet for white women, white men, white working class, whatever. He's a safe bet.
He's clearly worried about Ohio, too.
He's really worried about Ohio. And the thing that I really want to stress is the Republican Party would never be as progressive as to have a black vice president or a woman vice president. And you were kidding yourself if you thought Kamala Harris, if you thought Tim Scott or Nimrata, Nikki Haley, would be picked up how Kamala was picked up with Biden.
Yeah.
They were never, Ann Coulter put it on blast. And that's all you needed to know. The way she talked to Vivek about, I like your policies, like things, but
I'd never vote for you.
I would never vote for you because how did she say? Because you're Indian?
Yeah, pretty much.
It was very, very blunt to the point. Like you're not welcome here.
You're not white, so I'm not voting for you.
And the thing that I find so interesting is that what they're now going after with this is that going after the generational section of it. You and I have talked about how the next generation should be stepping in. That's our generation. 39 is our generation. If these people win, and I want this to really resonate with people in this group chat. By the way, what do we have here? How many people watching us?
Not sure.
Okay. So for that number of not sure, many watching us, if this is to win, you're looking at them trying to push an Eileen Cannon to be another justice in the Supreme Court.
Yeah.
You're looking at the takeover of having the next generation being a 39-year-old as a vice president to then carry this movement, this mega movement, for the next 40 years. I want that to really sit with people. That's what's on here. We got 1.1 thousand. That's what's up. And that's the thing that we have to really be paying attention to. There's a number of people on the Supreme Court that are going to retire in the next 4 years. Unlike the president, Biden, and unlike Trump's failed ass looking for his job back. By the way, it was a black job, Ryan. It was a black man that had that job.
What job?
President. It's a black job.
I'm confused.
Obama.
Yeah.
Obama, black job, taking black jobs.
Oh,
That
I got
orange
you.
piece
Gotcha.
of shit took a black job. That's
Yep.
all I'm saying. So when we talk about black jobs, president was a black job.
So let's circle back to J.D. Vance and some of the ridiculous things that he said, which makes this pick
So his resume.
so
his
much
resume.
more interesting. In June of 2023, he put a hold on all Biden administration appointments to the Justice Department to protest the indictments on Donald Trump. He has called Trump's hush money trial in New York a threat to American democracy. 34 felonies, and a jury told J.D. Vance that he's a moron. He believes that the culture war is class war, that pushing back against the cultural values of progressive elites is necessary to advance the economic and political interests of the working class. Yeah, so he's with Trump, but I guess we're the elites in this scenario, I guess.
That's right.
In the Senate, his culture war initiatives included a bill criminalizing gender-affirming care for transgender kids, a ban on federal mask mandates, and crackdown on affirmative action policies at colleges and universities. He publicly supports a 15-week abortion ban with exceptions for rape, incest, and threats to life of the mother. He opposes the PRO Act, which is the holy grail of pro-union labor reform. Steve Bannon has said, I'm sure he'll run for the presidency one day. Yeah, that's a good person to have backing you. He's by far the smartest and the deepest of any senator I've ever met, Tucker Carlson said. But, courts have said that he's always lying, so don't worry about that. He has encouraged Trump to defy the Supreme Court if the justices prevent him from firing executive branch officials. So, don't worry about what Supreme Court says. Just do whatever you want. He has compared the current moment in American history to the end of the Roman Republic. We are in a late Republican period. In America, he said on a podcast, let me say it again. We are in a late Republican period in America, he said on a podcast appearance in 2022. If we're going to push back against it, we're going to have to get pretty wild and pretty far out there and go in directions that a lot of conservatives right now are uncomfortable with. He has said that if he had been Mike Pence in Mike Pence's shoes in 2021, he would not have certified the results of the 2020 election. If I had been vice president, I would have told the states like Pennsylvania, Georgia, and so many others that we needed to have multiple slates of electors, and I think the U.S. Congress should have fought over it from there, he said in February. So let me just make this very fucking clear. J.D. Vance is a domestic terrorist. Like I just explained to you why. And this is also why I said that we should hold every one of these motherfuckers accountable to the fullest extent of the law. And if you are unaware of what fullest extent of the law is for treason, that means they should be hanging from a fucking tree. So, you guys want to vote for that? Go ahead. But he's literally told us that he will literally tell the American people to fuck off and do what Donald Trump wants him to do.
We all know that. He brought his knee pads and he's there for the Oval Office.
So that's literally treason. So, if you want to vote for that, and then you want to come for me and tell me I'm an elitist, I don't know what I'm talking about, that all my receipts are wrong, whatever you want to do to convince yourself. The fact of the matter is that Donald Trump is a felon, he's a fraud, he's a rapist, he's an accused pedophile, he's a horrible businessman. We have him on tape saying that he sexually assaults women, and people still vote for him. Like, there's no getting through to these people. It's like watching half of America. It's like The Walking Dead, except they're all Trump supporters and red hats. That's literally what it reminds me of. Because when I hear one of them talk, I feel dumber. When I hear them try to explain why I'm wrong, it reminds me of listening to a fourth grader explain why they did something wrong.
Right.
Like, I don't know what else to say. You know, my rants don't work, my receipts don't work, and these people, they will come up with any excuse to say that we're the problem, that liberals are the problems, that progressives are the problems. Like, oh my God, we want to feed hungry kids at school. Like, we want people to have health care. We want people to make living wages and be able to afford their house. We want people to be able to send their kids to decent schools and be able to pay for things like daycare so that they can actually go to the jobs that you want them to have. Like, the fact that you think these progressive ideas are so far-fetched that we shouldn't be doing them is mind-boggling to me. Like, what else do you think we should be doing with our time and money? Like, you cry about homelessness and crime, but then you make everything impossible for us.
Right.
Like, why do you think you have homelessness and crime? Because you make it almost impossible to buy a home. And then
don't forget, homelessness is now illegal.
Yeah, homelessness is now illegal. Congratulations. Thanks to the Supreme Court. So, you know, you want to put Trump in and give him another run at our fucking Constitution?
Yeah.
Fuck me, man.
Yeah. Yeah, it's really wild. I realize that Trump is like the Mr. Magoo of presidents. Everything with his court cases, everything. His whole entire career as a businessman, everything about it. He's just the Mr. Magoo. He just keeps finding his way to the end. And it's one of those things, you know, where we look at this and he's lived his life being like he's been on like a preset match of bumper bowling, you know? You take your kids to bumper bowling and you're like, okay, good job, kids. It's like that's literally what this entire justice system has been for him.
Can I ask you this too? Why is it that they assume every illegal is going to vote for a Democrat?
They're all running with that. They really think that all these illegals that have gotten in here and then been bused to all these major cities, which I think is so interesting. I think about this. And are we talking about people who are these the people that we want to say are illegals, or are these people who we want to say are what is the term? They are refugees coming to the country, right, for sanctuary.
I use their terms just so they know what I'm talking about.
Okay, so regardless, the ones that were all bussed mainly by Greg Abbott and sent all around the U.S., all these major cities.
And DeSantis.
Well, DeSantis was feeling left out, and so therefore he paid for a couple of flights.
Yeah.
But let's be serious. He only did it because he was running for president. So, and he used COVID fund money to do so. He's a piece of shit.
Yeah.
It's their talking point because they've now bussed all these people to blue cities, asylum seekers. Thank you, Saucy, asylum seekers. But no, asylum seekers. And they bust them to all these major cities like New York. And it's one of those things where it's like, okay, so what do you think is going to happen? They're going to come here. They're going to get processed. They're going to get jobs. They're going to become American citizens.
Yeah.
But now they live in blue cities and they're going to get opportunity. What do you think is going to happen? So did you just create this problem for yourself? And realistically, what is the process that it takes to become an American citizen? It doesn't just happen overnight.
No, it takes a while. It takes a while.
It takes a while, and then you look at how backed up they are. It ain't happening for this election, guys. I'm sorry.
No.
And then they just want to be like, well, anybody can vote. That is not true.
And
it is, do you live here? Yep, that's me. I see my name. Yep, thank you for my slip. Like, people act like they've never voted before.
And whatever you want to call them, refugees, asylum seekers, illegals, how many of them do you think are showing up to voting locations to vote and possibly get caught? If I'm in a country illegally, I'm going to tell you what, the last place I'm going is a freaking voting booth. I just, again, I always feel like that talking point is so stupid. Because it's like, oh yeah, I'm sure there's just hundreds of thousands of illegal immigrants showing up to voting locations,
Right.
standing in line for hours, and going into a voting location and going, yeah, that one right there. Come on.
It's so true. It's so true.
So, with that said, is there anything else you want to touch on before we wrap up tonight's show?
Guys, with everything that's going on, the one thing I do want to say to you is we got to find a way to lower the temperature. We got to love, seriously, look out, reach out to your neighbor, reach out to friends, reach out to those who are going crazy online. As a friend, reach out to them and let them know. Like, I see you. Let's go get a coffee. Let's talk. Let's get off this ledge, because right now they're lacking empathy and they're afraid. I'm sorry. This is fear. And it's bubbled up to the top. And they have to understand that we are, in the end, we are all in this together. We really do have to lower the temperature, and we really do need to make sure that we start on a local level of being with our communities and looking at it, how can that reverberate for the rest of the nation?
Yeah.
I called some of my conservative friends today, regardless of how heated it got in listening to their bullshit. I asked them, show me a receipt. And I'm right there with you. Show me a receipt. You know, right now I can't take your fake Oakleys and, you know, your conspiracy theories. That's not going to happen. And it's one of those things where, you know, if you can seriously just try to meet somebody at the table and let them know, like, in the end, we're all still going to be American. There's no way around it.
So apparently there is a clip out in a shocking resurfaced clip. Donald Trump's VP nominee J.D. Vance says women should stay in violent marriages for the sake of their kids. Yikes.
Yeah, reality's going to come out and get these people. They've said so much off-the-wall shit, and it's coming.
Yeah. In case I need to say it, I don't co-sign that at all. Like, if you're in a violent marriage, get the fuck out of there. It's not good for your kids, trust me.
No. It was a very weird place for you to bring that up when I just had my speech.
Yeah, sorry about that.
Love your neighbor. Beat your wife, love your neighbor. No, Ryan. No.
To be fair, it wasn't me that brought it up. It was
Who's producing this show?
I know. I know it was sort of Republican of me,
seriously,
wasn't it?
love your neighbor and love your wife more. All right? That's reality.
For sure. And with that said, thank you so much for tuning in with us tonight, guys. We will have pre-recorded shows for you for the next 2 Fridays. I will be on vacation, so you will not be hearing from me a whole lot. So stay safe out there. We got the Republican RNC convention going on this week, so I'm sure that there's going to be plenty of crazy clips to show, and I hope you all have fun with that.
Oh, one more thing.
Yeah.
Hit me up on TikTok, guys. TikTok?
TikTok?
Jesus Christ. Hit me up on TikTok, guys, because I am trying to get on with Ryan and do some of this show on TikTok, like I just said. So on TikTok, hit me up. It is at Sherman, SHERMAN _BK. Hit me up. Follow me. I need to get to a number of views or followers to join Ryan and do some of the hold the mic on TikTok. So with that, like, subscribe, hit that notification. Ryan, take us out.
Yes, sir. So as I said, stay safe out there. Look, we beat Donald Trump at the ballot box or in court. What happened the other day is not acceptable. Political violence for any party is not the way for us to go. So just remember, nothing has changed. Donald Trump is still the same person. The list of things that he has done and reasons not to vote for him have not changed. Him being shot at does not change any of those things. So it shouldn't change your vote. It shouldn't change your opinion of him. So with that, I'll leave you as